It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso live on SABC3 at the start of a brand new month altogether, the month of love. And so, of course, how fitting is it that we start the month of love off by taking a look at relationships? And we're asking the question, how do you resolve conflicts with those that you love, that you care about in your relationships? We're back with clinical psychologist Asha Dulab to unpack this topic, a very important one to have. So please do weigh in with your questions, your comments on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3, or give us a call, 021 110 5552. Asha.
Asha, I'm very excited to unpack this one question for you, but we actually have a caller on the line this morning. Good morning.
It's Patrick.
Morning, how are you guys?
Good,
Very
thank
good.
you. Is this Patrick?
Vincent. Rather.
Vincent.
Vincent. What is your
Welcome.
question for Asha this morning?
Well, I wanted to find out, Asha, the methodology of when I'm in a conflict with my partner and I see the conversation gets a little bit heated, is the best thing to do to retreat, like, for instance, leave the apartment, go for a run, and then come back afterwards in the midst of her still perhaps talking?
Okay, very interesting question, Vincent. So he wants to know, in the heat of the moment, would you advise him to, like, that cool-off period while she's talking?
Well, I think a cool-off period is always good because we're quite reactive in a moment of a disagreement, and we may say things that we don't really mean. So we can employ the stop method, where we literally stop, and then take a few breaths. Breathing is very important. Because remember that our physiological response to a disagreement, our heart rate goes up, we become more tense, our voice raises, and then breathe. And then observe yourself. Observe get in touch with where you are at with your body, and then proceed. And then sometimes it means just to move away from the current conflict, calm down, and then reconnect.
I love that. And Zoe, I loved what you said actually during the break about what you have been taught, and you grew up with this principle of what you do have control over. Please say that to everyone.
So it's something I've realized is you can't always control the first thought that pops in your head, but you can control your first action or your first choice, like what you choose to say. So I feel like in the heat of the moment, I am someone where, because I know I can't control the first thing that will come out, I prefer to just take a step back, figure things out, process it before approaching it a little bit more logically. But Asha, a question I've been burning to ask you is, I know that last week we discussed and unpacked love languages, but in the past we've also unpacked the 4 different styles of attachment. Is there some sort of relationship with how we handle and take care of, conflict resolution? The way we were raised, does that impact how we handle it?
Absolutely. Our attachment styles does have an impact. For example, if we look at the anxious attachment style, they fear rejection. Okay. And imagine now you have a partner that's avoidant, conflict avoidant. They may withdraw. So the one partner may feel that they are being rejected. So it does really have an interplay together with the way we communicate. Are we more passive-aggressive? Are we more assertive in our nature in communicating? And of course, our personalities come into play. So it's quite laid, but the way we are brought up, we observe our parents dealing with conflicts. Siblings teach us so much about conflict. We have a lot of disagreements with our siblings, and of course friends, and those are all times where we can learn how to deal with conflict.
And you know what, at the end of the day, conflict's not supposed to be a bad thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a lot of good that comes from it, but it's also about how you execute it. Is it possible for someone to change their style of conflict? Because we are so set in our ways on how we want to handle something, but can they change it?
Absolutely. With more self-awareness, you can change it. It's doing some work, understanding that, we can be so repetitive in our nature. We do the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So be aware of that, because what you'll notice with any disagreement, it's quite repetitive. We are recycling the same issue over and over. And I think that, we are doing more conflict management and resolution in that kind of space. So become aware of what is repetitively playing out in a relationship, and that could be a sign that you may need to just really look at the way you're dealing with the current conflict.
I like that. And I also, Asha's not going anywhere. I would love for us to unpack, like, what are some of the types of conflict we need to be looking out for when it comes to dealing with a new partner or a new colleague, just so that you can also approach that personality type correctly. But please continue to connect with us. You can do so on the Expresso Facebook page. We'd love to see or hear your comments. And of course, you are welcome to call us on our studio line. That number is 021 110 552.